Hello everyone, good morning. Paul Tranny here. You probably don't recognize me because I shaved yesterday. Who's this fresh-faced new guy? Well, my name is Paul Tranny. I'm an evangelist for Adobe, and I'm so happy to be here because we're going to dive into vector illustration, day 2 of 2, and should be good times. Feel free to say hello in chat. I see you there, Comic Sans, Caroline, Michelle, Steve. What's up, gang? All right, hopefully you guys are fresh-faced and ready to hit it, ready to go after it. We're going to recap what we did yesterday, and yeah, so that's the idea. So we'll recap, and then we'll dive into some new things and finish out a full illustration. One thing we did not cover is color, so obviously that's going to make a huge difference in what a piece looks like. So yeah, welcome. All right, hope you don't mind. I had to drink some coffee. Didn't really get a haircut, it's just wet. It's just like not. There we go. That's a little bit more like me. All right, let's dive into this, and we kind of talk about where we left off yesterday. And some of it was, it was kind of in bits and pieces, and I actually spent some time kind of cleaning it up, just so you know. And let's... having some issues with that one. That is weird. So let's just go ahead and switch over really fast. Oh, let's close this file. And let's switch over. By the way, we have a full schedule today. I can share that with you right now as I open up this file. But basically what we have is we have myself, vector illustration, Jesus Ramirez. I don't know if this is like week 2. I apologize, but he will be up next at 9 a.m. for 30 minutes, then photo compositing. Well, he's double dipping today. He's doubling up his schedule, so he's going to get into some photo compositing, which is always fun. Andrew doing some Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge, dive into branding and identity design, which is huge. I encourage you to apply that to your own work if you could. XD Daily Creative Challenge this afternoon, drawing along with Kyle. So, yeah, that's what's going on, everyone. All right, let me switch to my screen, and let's get this party. Yes, we were in a bird mood yesterday, so trust me, we'll kind of continue on that theme, and really the fundamentals of drawing is what we're covering in Illustrator, not only on the desktop, but on iPad. Yeah, they're all messed up, Carol. The days, weeks, and months are all getting blurry. Kept on thinking yesterday was Thursday for some reason. So this is kind of what we created yesterday. Some of the elements, carnation, a daisy, a lily, a rose. We kind of went through some of this, right? Kind of ended up making some of this content. And in fact, we can see, I actually kind of did a final file. Let's preview this. Of really just a bunch of flowers. Really easy to do on Illustrator for the iPad because you have, this wonderful radial repeat, which made, especially the carnation was like so easy to do. But we also got comfortable with lines as well. We got the rose. Sure, it could use a little bit more work, but that's okay. I wanted to keep everything very simple, and you get the idea, right? Tiger lily, these bluebells. Right? We don't know that they're blue because we haven't added color yet, but we will in a second. So yes, everything is blurring together. What day is today? I don't know. It's Thursday, actually. Thursday, July 30th, 2020. Right? We could turn this year around at any point, guys. Let's just band together. Let's get better. Regardless of kind of what we're dealing with, let's just try to do our best to get better. So I kind of took those and kind of spread them out. I actually kind of worked on this, and maybe I should actually switch over to exactly where we left off, right in here yesterday, right? And I did want to point out the fact that, again, Illustrator was originally made to where you were tracing photos, because then your image would be resolution independent. So actually in the first version of Illustrator, it would actually ask you to open up a template file, right, which would just be an image like this, as we can see, this lovely cardinal, okay? So what a lot of people will do is they will select that image, and this is what I do all the time, is they'll take the opacity down, and then they'll start drawing on top of it, okay? And make sure you lock that background layer. But another thing you can do is, let's take the opacity back up, double click on the layer and you get the layer options. So right in here, sure enough, it says, oh, make this a template file. Click, right, dim image to 50%. Click OK, there it is. It's now a template file, which is why it has this different icon, right? And it's also locked. So basically adjusted the transparency to 50% and locked it and changed the icon. Cool, cool, cool. All right, just gotta check everything. Good morning, Jack and Akatar, Muriel and Jackie, awesome. Sweet. All right, so we did work on this little bird. Kind of turned out kind of lame. Like, it actually needs some work, right? Because looking at this cardinal, I started playing with this tail. Then I look over here, it's like, that's not what its tail looks like. So I want to take a look at that. Yesterday's session is below me, so hopefully you guys are joining me on good old behance.net/Adobe Live, and then scroll down. It'll be in the replays section. It is one of two. Okay, so let's just ungroup this a couple times. Oh, maybe not ungroup this, but I thought this was really cool. Let's just ungroup. So what I did is I actually overlaid this color red on top using the appearance panel, right? If I overlay that color of two shapes, right, it will make it one solid color. That was one way of doing things. So let's get rid of those two things. This is kind of what it looks like originally. Okay, kind of like this. Let's increase this stroke. But what I learned, I think we're always learning. I am definitely. What's up, Alexander? Good to have you here. Alexander, did you know this? If you select two shapes, again, somebody told me this yesterday. I'm like, man, I cannot believe I did not know this. I'm so embarrassed. When did we add this? But these two shapes, I actually want them to, I still want to be able to move around the tail, right, independently, but I don't want to have this line right here. Okay, so if you select those two, I'll just use selection tool, go over here to the Pathfinder. We want to join these two together or unite them. We want to unite them. Hold down the Option key or the Alt key and then click. And that's going to give you a compound path that will allow you to edit it. So again, I'm super embarrassed that I did not know that, but now I can jump in and I can move that. I got rid of the line, but this is still an editable shape, right? Because honestly, like, I'm not crazy about that. It needs a different tail entirely. So that's what I'm going to do right now. You know, here's a rounded rectangle. Kind of want something like this. In fact, I want it to be thinner at the base, just like this tail is. It's going to be thinner kind of at the base, and then it fans out. So that's what I'm going to do right in here. And I'm going to use some manipulation tools right over here. We'll use this lovely one right here, which is probably a perspective distort is what it is, right? So now I can take that. Ooh, that's selected. And there we go. Make sure you have it selected. I actually did not have it selected. Grab that point and then just pull it in. And now we have a tail that kind of fans out. So that's what I want. I'll rotate it like so. We'll put it down here, right? We could rotate it a little bit more because that's what it looks like in that larger picture. And I could always adjust it further, you know, adjust it accordingly. Cool. Thank you, Caroline Never Knew as well. That makes me feel better. I'm like, when did I miss this email? I had this email end up in my spam about uniting objects. Just hold down the Alt key, right? So there we are. Here's our fun bird. Let's add a little bit more to it, right? So we kind of want to play with, actually this beak should probably be back there. Let's move it to the back. Let's add a little like, needs a slight curve of the wing right here because this is awfully empty right here. So we could do that a couple different ways. Somebody asked me yesterday, it's like, what do I use? Do I use the pen tool or do I use the pencil tool? I hate to say it, but like use whatever tool that you're more comfortable with. If you want a lot of accuracy, people will use the pen tool. If you want things to be more free-flowing and organic, use the pencil tool. So like I said, if I want this a little bit more free-flowing, I can kind of use the pencil tool. Let's change this stroke color. Right, so look at it, added all those points. Let's double click on this pencil tool. Make sure it's set to smooth, right? It created way too many points, right? And again, that's a very organic, swooshy type of look. And that, honestly, I think I nailed it. This never happens to me, right? Carol Proles, the name, same thing as Command/Control 7. I do not know. I guess I could try that. All right, so check this out. So this makes this that curve actually looks pretty good. We don't want this end cap right here. See that lovely end cap? No, don't just chop it off like that. We want to come into here to the stroke. Let's change that stroke. As we click on that underline, we get all these beautiful settings. We can go ahead and make the cap rounded, and I usually change the corners to be a curved corner. Or rounded, as you can see. Now we have this lovely rounded corner, so that's pretty easy, right? We can kind of move this off to the side. I don't want to get rid of it because I did an excellent job. We could hit P for pen, and then we can click, whoop. Oh, now I know the precise curves, whoop, like that. And now we have, again, just this nice curve that we could go ahead and connect here. Maybe it should connect here. I haven't decided yet. Something like that. Zoop. Boop. Like that. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Andreas. I want to give everybody a warm welcome. It's a beautiful day out today, I assume. I'm in a basement, in a box of emotion. Just kidding. I'm just in a basement, so I have no idea. I assume it's a beautiful day out there. But you know what? Cool thing is, we're gonna make this a fun summer day today, regardless of what it looks like outside, right? So this is what we're going for. Okay, so here you see my bird. Here's the final bird. Kind of dropped him in here already, and this is what he looks like. Oh, look at him, so fancy. Look, Bezier points. I can go ahead and edit, right? Use my direct selection tool, kind of move him around and put him someplace. All right, Devka, how you doing? If it is your first time joining me, I would love to give you a warm welcome and say thanks for hanging out. It's gonna be a good day or evening, wherever I hit you in whatever time zone you're in. Jamie Rivera, what's up from Dubai? Awesome. All right. Can you tell I went shopping recently? Does anybody late at night go shopping? Because I've actually ordered a bunch of shirts. So you'll see a bunch of different patterned shirts, just so you know. And just so you know, yesterday it was inspired, all these images were kind of inspired by the shirt I had on, because it had really cool outlined flowers. This one here today is a little bit more chaotic, and you can do some of this fun chaotic work in Illustrator as well. Right now we're being really exact with illustration, but we could also have fun with our manipulation tools. Okay, just so you know. So if I do happen to add a new layer, let's just make a box of sorts. Let's give it a fun color. Why not? Get rid of that, right? And again, I come in here. This is if you want to create anything chaotic, I typically kind of default to behind the width tool are all these hidden little tools that you may or may not be aware of, right? We have warping, twirling, puckering, bloating, right? So that's what I can do is I can create a bunch of shapes like I'm doing right now. Maybe they're different colors, different styles, right? As I rotate them and change the color. Right, but let's go ahead and take a look at one of those tools. Selecting this object in here, this warp tool. Let's think about this warp tool. The warp tool will pull pixels. So I can come in here. First off, you want to check your brush size. So double click on this tool. So I feel like Illustrator is the one app where the tools have like even more tools and more options. But double click on that warp tool and you'll get the size of the brush, the width, the height, and its intensity. So how much are we gonna pull it, right? So let's go up to 90%. Change it to 90, click OK, and now we can kind of pull that down, right? And now we have all this fun swooshy stuff, right? And we can pull it in like it's melting, down like so, right? So that's all I'm doing. I'm not creating anything too crazy. I'd rather do something like this. Let's take this guy, let's pull this down, right? Straight down like that is shooting through the atmosphere and melting as it goes up. Let's change these to 50, 50, change this to 100, click OK. It's half the size. Pull that down, look at that. Like that, right? We can see that like melting as it sort of shoots up through the atmosphere just for fun. In fact, let's make sure we change this gradient as well. There we go. Like that. I don't know. We did that just for fun. No skull shirts. Carol, ooh, you know me too well. Of course I have a skull shirt. I have a skull and flowers shirt. I might wear it tomorrow for my Photoshop live stream. So I showed this yesterday as well. I think people really needed to, let's hide artboards, really needed to like reset this bounding box. Because I want to stretch this whole thing out more, but look at this wonky bounding box. It's like, oh, I got to grab this edge and do that. No, right? People will think up different hacks. Can I have a cup too? Thank you. Oh, yeah. But you can go into transform, and then we can always reset that bounding box right here. Boom, there it is. Oh, thank you. Now I can stretch out the whole thing, and now it's like, who knows, just some crazy shape shooting into the sky like that. You get the idea. Okay. Hello, Paul. What's going on? I really don't know. And that's the fun of this, because what I'm showing right now are just some fun distortion tools. Anytime you want to make something look chaotic, you know, like my fun shirt, that's what we're doing, is we're distorting shapes, making some interesting content that's more abstract than the literal stuff we've been doing. Okay, so have fun with those, by the way. They're hidden behind here, behind the width tool. There's the twirl. You're gonna figure out what all these do, right? And this is a situation where you just want to play with it, right? Look at these swirls. As we create this, we can see these fun swirls being created along the border here mainly, right? As I start to twirl this in. Cool. For all of these, if you double click, you have the additional controls for these tools. So the brush size may be interactively changed by holding down the Option key as well. So keep that in mind. So right here, we hold down the Option key, click, and then if I go up and to the right or left, I'm actually changing the brush size, right? Because I want some super big swirls, right? We'll click. Let's change it some more. Let's click down here and make some more craziness is all we're doing. Having fun with creating these fun shapes. It's adding a lot of, a fair amount of, like Bezier, a lot of points is what's happening. So I am noticing there's like a slight slowdown. So be aware of that as I add this as like just a nebula in the sky for this, this scene. So, yes, Samyak? Yes, exactly, Samyak. You nailed it. This is like Liquify for Illustrator. Oh yeah, thank you so much. You guys are in trouble now. What? I got more coffee. I got too many coffee cups. There may or may not be 3 right here. Huh? Oh, and Hamilton. Do we have any Hamilton fans out there? Yeah. So, it's a musical by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who's awesome and is like one of my new favorite people. All right, let's continue. We had some fun here. Hopefully you guys don't mind that little diversion, but I'm showing you how to create randomness, or more like abstract content. There you go. Okay, that's going to come in handy, like as I start dealing with this summer scene. If I want some fun, chaotic leaves or something in the background, I can consider using that. Oh, so Melanie, you're never behind. You're not behind. Everybody's on their own little journey. It is all good. I'll show you this, Melanie. This, you can pick this up right now and start running with it. Because again, I want to add some more fun randomness and just some... I don't need this straight. I already changed the font, by the way. So let's select this. I'm really into this Blue font, right? It's called Blue. And it just has a little bit more character than the Source Sans Pro I used yesterday. But I want to give this some more fun, chaoticness, and just have it just be more playful. So I'm going to use the Touch Type tool right down here. Touch Type tool. Right, we made this largely for touch devices, made it easier to play with the kerning and all that stuff. But check this out. I can now select this, and let me change the color so everybody can see it. Here it is. Zoop, right down here. Touch Type tool. Come in here. Select this. Zoop. Let's move that E up. Right? Let's zoom out. Let's move this M up like that. And this S up like this. Right? If I want to rotate them, I can rotate them as well. I'm not going to for this design, but this allows me to move these letters around, adjust the kerning, technically the leading, all by using one tool and one hand. I can do this with one hand tied behind my back. Right? So this is super cool. Jump in, change this, move it around. The cool thing is, if I switch back over, guess what? This is all on one line. So I can change this text at any time. Because personally, just so you know, I don't know if there are any copywriters out there, but this needs to say something better than summer. It needs to be like, I'm thinking of like, it just needs to have like maybe a different phrase is all. But all I have right now is summer. So it should say like escape, or I don't know. I'm open to changing this text if you guys think of anything else that's more clever. Uma from Nairobi. Awesome. Welcome, my friend. Right, so I have all these. These are looking good. Can I move these around? Right, I have my lovely bird. The bird isn't even on a branch yet. Bird needs to be on a branch, right? We can come in and do this a couple of ways. I can continue to... So here's the deal. You ready for this? I could do this a couple of different ways, right? Because if I wanted to create a branch, I could do like a branch and draw something out like that. Okay, we get how that works. Looks like this does not have any fill. So let's give it a fill. All right, we won't worry too much about that. So I could draw like so. And maybe make a branch. It might be suiting for this. There we go. And we're back. Let's remove some of these points. Right? Hit A. You'll get used to using all these lovely shortcuts. Right? Let's just do this for one branch, and then we'll get into some more tools. Okay. There's our lovely branch for our lovely bird. Send it to the back. Move it up. There's our bird just kind of sitting there, okay? Another thing I could do, if I want to have multiple branches throughout this whole design, right? I could use the blob brush tool. I don't know if we have fans of the blob brush out there, but blob brush tool, selecting that, what this does is this is going to create solid shapes. So I have white in my foreground, right? As my fill color, and then I have the stroke as black, right? I'm using the closing bracket to change the size. And now I can come in here and click and drag. And what it does is it creates this lovely shape as opposed to making this a stroke, okay? So it's the blob brush that actually turns a shape into a stroke, okay? So that's what I could do for this, right? I need to make sure the size is back down to 5, like that. And I can, oops, just jump back in there, right? And have these different like branches or whatever out there that all have this lovely stroke. Let's deselect that. There we go. Switch it back. Take it back down to 5. You get the idea. Cool. Blob brush. Yes, the branch is coming into the cutting into the flower. Very perceptive. Good call. Like, this is lame. What are you doing, Paul? It's so lame. Why did this happen? Well, what we have in here in general is this group, but this group has this fill color, but it only covers a certain part. This might come in handy later, but what I ultimately need to do is probably, this is, I know you guys would do this, is you would draw something else kind of behind it and make sure that's set to white and the fill like so. All right, let's go back in here for this, for all of these. Let's make all these white. Let's paste it in, send it to the back, and now we solve that problem. So basically I did that white fill, and now we won't have that. I'm basically gonna have that issue with all of these images, but we're gonna get into color anyways. Can you decrease the thickness of the blob brush tool? For sure, my friend. Actually, if you double click on it, you can go just like with the pencil tool, you can go from accurate down to smooth, right? And in here, you can start to change some of the various dimensions of this brush, right? Click OK. This is kind of come in handy, and I think the reason a lot of people use the blob brush is for like coloring things in. That's what I do all the time. I use it to color things in. In fact, guess what? On the iPad is also the blob brush. But that's what you want to do. You want to change it to like so. I've drawn this, right? It should be smoother. I'll double click on this. Merge only with selection. We can keep it selected, merge only with selection. So now what I'm gonna do, and I'll do this on a new layer just so everybody can see it nice and clear. Let's say, for instance, I just wanted something, a fun color kind of behind it, right? Right now that's set to black. Let's do a fun summer color. Let's do that color like that. And now as I paint, it's actually merging those shapes together, right? Like so. I'm just using my mouse, but again, this adds a fun organic quality to it. Switch up the color. I'd probably switch up the color before long. You get the idea. Let's take this to the next level. You ready for this? Zoop, zoop, zoop. There we are. Summertime. Okay, I would have drawn the circle bigger and used the shape tool to alt the outer stuff. Anna, you do you. That sounds great. The reason that's a good idea, Anna, is because ultimately I really want only one object that is the color of the flower. Right now I'm gonna have a couple, so that also works. Good call. Canicule, I have no idea what that means, Luis. Help me out. Yes, Miriam also mentions the reset bounding box. Did not know that existed, and now you do, and now you're happy. You're happier for it. I'm here for that. Right? I'm here for adding to this. Whatever the case may be. I got a fun rhino. I got so many rhinos in here. Oh, great. All right, so let me just go ahead and switch over to the iPad real fast. here I'm on the iPad. Okay, so I apologize. I feel like I jumped ahead, but let's turn off a lot of these layers. If you guys are following me on like Instagram and all that, right, you probably have already seen this. But just like on the desktop, we have the blob brush on iPad as well. So this is Illustrator on the iPad. Okay. And Cornell, you're never late. I always encourage people to kind of scrub through the first part if they want to. But right in here, you have this blob brush. So now I can go in and say, hey, you know what? I want some shading. Currently, it's just set to black. Okay. Wait for it. I have everything locked down. Let's make sure everything's locked down. Boop. There we go. Let's turn that one off. There we go. Top layer selected. There's my brush. So go in here. I just have, I don't know why the roundness got a little funky, but you can control, sorry, that's behind my head. You can control the angle and different properties just like you can on the desktop. So let's move me over so you can see that, right? Pressure dynamics and all those fun brush settings. I have the smoothing cranked up like all the way because I want it to be nice and smooth. And then we can come in, we can change the color, right? In this case, just want to go with like that brown, right? And then just start painting. Let's take the size down as well. You know, and that's actually how I made most of the detail for this rhino. So take this down to like 5. We can start to do just some nice like wrinkles. Is what this guy needs right down here. Let's create some wrinkles. He's gonna have wrinkles around his eyes, so his eyes are gonna be like right here, right? And we can create that space for his eye. And each time I draw, it actually starts to add to that current shape. So it's a pretty efficient way when it comes to painting to kind of jump in and just use that blob brush to get what you want. Add a new layer, maybe throw some black in there, right? There's one on top, like so. Let's do a little bit of a highlight. Make sure you have it deselected. Do a little bit of highlight of white. And let's take this down a lot in size. You know, little highlight, that sort of situation. Ooh, heat wave is a fun word too. Heat waves. Oh, waves would be fun. I'm into waves. So again, that's how I jump in. This was just a real quick example. Obviously, I'd want to go in and change this and just spend a lot of time on it. It probably took me hours and hours, just to be honest with you. But jump in and start creating all those fun details for all these wrinkles for this rhino. Right, these big swooshes. Adjust the brush size. Again, right in here. You get the idea. Cool. Let's turn off that mess. We kind of turn on what was actually created. Like that. And turn off that mess that we made. There we are. Let's take a look right in here. Sure enough, individual blob brush. Could have also just used the pencil, just so you know. Could have also used the pen, right? It really doesn't matter. Any news on when the beta will be extended? Is beta closed right now? That is a good question. Is the beta closed, right? All right, so that's all vector. What else you want to know in here? There's more I can do, but I want to get back to the desktop. Okay. Right in here, also just for this blob brush, what I accidentally had going on here. Let's take a look. Oh, this darn blob brush. Look at this. So I accidentally somehow like just gave this a stroke. Sometimes that adds some nice detail. But I could always turn that off as well. So let's get rid of that stroke there. even for that shape. Let's get rid of it. Don't know why that happened, but let's kind of smooth that out. That looks a lot better. I think that actually ended up in the final, but hey, you know what? The biggest enemy to a lot of artists and designers is perfection, right? So if you're worried about perfection, you're never going to reach it. It's best just to get it done and get it out the door and move on, in my opinion. The last 20% takes you 80% of the time. Malik, these are being saved. You can always go to behance.net/live because I'm actually streaming there as well. Okay, cool. You guys see that? That's good. We can go in, add a background. Lovely layer like so. Zoom out. Maybe add just a lovely dark color. Come in here. Give it a ground to kind of hang out on. It's like, hey, buddy, hang on out on that ground. Right? Let's add another lovely rectangle above him and start playing with the brightness like so. In fact, what I want to do is add a lovely, oops, undo, a lovely, there we go, circle. All right, there's our circle. Circle is going to be a sun. There we are. Let's take a look at all this lovely layers and just reorganize them a little bit. Now we have this sort of sun kind of peering over the top. As you start to scale things, and when you draw things, by the way, you'll see this little line. And let me zoom in on this. We see this diagonal line that tells me that this is a perfect circle, even though it doesn't look like it on the live stream. I don't know if it looks like it. I think I must have messed up the ratio in the live stream, but technically this is a perfect circle, just so you know. Zoom out. There's our line. Move that to the back. Maybe move that down. You get the idea. Done. Saving it. Rhino copy 1-1. Good job naming that, Paul. Oh, I meant to as in extending to the more people beyond the initial. Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know if we're going to open it up to more people or not for the beta. I'm sorry, I do not know. That's so lame. All right, my nose itches. All right. Okay, so here we are. We can go File, Open. And eventually this file will sync. So might give it a second. Usually I'm not working on my iPad and my desktop at the same time, right? But we can see this asset got synced, and we'll see the other one get synced as well. Ooh, here's the one that I ended up with, but that's something I'm going to show you in a second. All right, so anyways, we'll wait for that to sync. As it does it, we can kind of move on with this particular piece. We worked on the blob brush. We can add some fun summer waves, which is also a good idea, right? But let's kind of jump into this because Illustrator is super smart. Illustrator can do so much, okay? And you can draw individual elements, and I'm not even crazy about this. Like, I would definitely take this. Anytime something just kind of looks ugly, simplify it. Go to Object, go to Path, down to Simplify. Just simplify your path, because you know what? It got too complex, and it got too lumpy, right? So right in here, you can see it. We'll minimize it to 8 points. Drag it clear over here. Now it's down to 4 points. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4 points as part of this branch, right? So that's all you need to do, right? We could see those individual points, and it might make it easier to work with. And usually just kind of like smooth out things, just so you know, okay? So that's what I'll do. Start to smooth out things. I'd say that branch looks okay. We could draw a leaf right up here, right? Let's come right over here. Oh, really fast. Bring that back. Boop. I did this yesterday as well, but we could always jump in, you know, use a rectangle tool, select these opposing corners, drag them in like that, and now we have this lovely leaf. Take the line tool, draw like so, okay? So there's our lovely leaf that we have. Let's group it together. Actually, let's not group it together. Let's take this, make it white. Now we'll group it together. Gonna move this down. Now, I showed this yesterday as well. I decide I want to duplicate this some more. Let's bring a leaf over here. Let's shrink it down. As I shrink it down, notice how the size of that stroke stays the same. And that's because in preferences, if you go to general, we want to make sure, oh wait, did it scale it? Oh, it did scale. So we want to turn off scale, strokes, and effects, typically, right? Because I want to keep everything the same stroke size. These all should be 5, okay? 5 point. So right in here, I want to select both of these, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's 5. And notice how the stroke doesn't scale anymore. And that's what I want, because I want to have different size leaves, but I want the stroke to be the same. Kind of move this around like so, place one over here, you get the idea. This is getting to be a lot of work, right? We get it. Cute little red cardinal, that's right. So this is what I do as well, Melanie. You ready for this? Like I actually want to create some more, again, some more chaos. Like I could copy and paste all day long, but that's not a good use of my time. What I want to do is I want to just go ahead and convert this to a symbol. So many different ways to do, there's like, well actually, there's 2 main ways to do this, right? I can convert it to a symbol and use the symbol sprayer tool, right? So that's one option, and that's what we'll start with first off, okay? So again, there's my text. Here's my shape. We'll go down to symbols. We'll open up this panel. Got these lovely flowers in there already. Let's click and drag it in, and this is my leaf. So we'll just leave this right here. And now what I can do is I'll do this on a new layer because this is really just going to be the background. Boop. And in fact, I could double click and I could always edit this guy, which I'll do in a second, because first I need to get it down everywhere. So here's going to be my leaves layer. We'll lock everything else down, right? There's my symbols. We'll go to our lovely symbol sprayer tool, okay? Symbol sprayer tool. First thing is going to happen, so you do have to have a symbol selected. If you do not and you click, it's like, hey buddy, you need to select a symbol. There we go, I selected a symbol. Are you happy now? Right, as I click, I can make these lovely leaves, right? Let's turn off those other layers. Right, we have all these leaves. We'll double click on it. And this is what's happening. So we have the diameter, so the size, and all these other options, right? But we'll get into those in a second. So you could do that. You can make your brush a little bit larger. You could start to paint out some of these, right, like so, but really we want these to be random. So we could do the symbol shifter. So all these options for manipulating these symbols are right in here. Symbol shifter tool, right? We can start to push them around and space them out some more, especially all these ones that are on top of each other. I can kind of spread those out like that. Okay, they're all going the same direction. I get it, right? I would jump in and use the, I could use the sizer tool, the scruncher tool. So the sizer tool is going to resize them. So it's going to make some larger. See what I'm doing there? Boop, boop. Let's rotate them. Spinner, right? We'll click once, right? We're rotating them. We can hold down the Option or the Alt key and adjust it as well. This is honestly like a lot of work if you ask me. This is almost too much work. I'm sorry. This has got to stop. This is too much work, right? I agree. I'm sort of pushing and pulling things around. Sure, it's nice. One thing I love about it is I can decide to go back into the symbol and say, hey, you know what? I want this to be a different color. Let's go do the Shaba, right? Let's make it that color. Why not? Maybe a little lighter. There we are. There's the leaf. Let's go back out. Wait for it. Cross your fingers. Drink one of your 3 cups of coffee. The leaves are alive. All right, and there they are. So they're all linked back to this symbol. Because technically what these are instances of a symbol, right? Right in here, just little instances. Right in there. Okay, cool. Hopefully that makes sense. That's pretty fun to work with. This is what I like. Yeah, global edit could be awesome. So I could always break this apart, by the way. I could get this like maybe 80% of the way there. And I can go to, oops, sorry. I can go to object and expand. Expand all these objects, ungroup them, right? And now I can select these individual leaves. So in one case, that could be a starting point for you that then you can then manipulate a little bit further, all right? All right, we got that down. We can see what that does, right? Creating some of that chaos and seeing how this looks with our other shapes. Man, I really need to add some color. Oh yeah, so Anna, I'm sorry, I don't know Hamilton enough to quote it like some people can. I'm just a huge Lin-Manuel Miranda fan. So you're gonna give me time. I'm like new to this. I'm like 5 years too late on the Hamilton bandwagon, might I add. Okay, so a lot of you can already see some of the issues with some of these. Guess what? Oh, they all need to be filled in. We have a number of issues that we can kind of take care of. And I'm gonna do it right now, guys. I'm not messing around. I'm just gonna try to go fast. And I think you're gonna, this is how you learn by doing. All right, we can see all those lines. Are these grouped together? What is this? What's going on, right? What's going on with this crazy guy? Oh, that's a fun shape. Oh, guess what, Paul? You did not fill that in with white because I want to fill it in with white or a color, right? So that's what we'll get. We'll send that to the back. Shortcut key, select this one, send it to the back. As I work on this, what I'm going to be conscious of are a couple things. I typically use this standard palette, to be honest with you, and it could be even a little bit more broad. Okay, but what I am going to make sure these have going on is their global color swatch, right? So if I decide to apply this color and I decide I want it brighter or darker, I could jump in and it's going to change it globally, right? So that's typically what I will do. Right, let's change that back. So I'll do that for all of these, right? This one, still, bear with me. I know there's a couple little issues with some of this. Please forgive me. Let's make a new color. Let's go lighter with it. Add that like so. There it is, our lovely greenish. It's got a couple greens in there, right? All right, let's move on. So Anna, you must be a Hamilton fan, huh? Into it. I saw We Are Freestyle Loved Supreme on Netflix, which is also about just a freestyle rapping type improv musical group. Kind of hard to explain. Maybe you've seen it already. But that's kind of what got me hooked, to be honest with you. Okay, some of these colors are a little bright. Let's go with a soft pink, because all I really want to do is I want to determine what's white and what is not. So you can see a lot of these situations where I definitely need to combine these together and do all of that work. You hear me? Thanks. So I did a lot of this on the iPad using the repeat reflect is what we have. Also have a radial repeat, also have a grid repeat, all on the iPad, right? So that's what was going on here initially. I could select, at any time you can select these 2 points. This is old school, by the way, taking these 2 points. I want them to be joined together. We'll go to Object, Path, Join. So Command J as you get started or further along in your career you know, you'll do Command J a lot, right? Same for this end. Boom, connect them, change that to a different color, or change it to, you know, something else. There we go. Let's do this. There we are. I am late to the party. I'm late to the Hamilton party. Those two, Command J, join those. Definitely needs to be smoothed out, right? I'll just do that, like so. Select that color, move that back there. This is bothering everybody, right? I feel like half your career is just like cleaning up stuff, right? To where you ultimately want to kind of connect those two. That looks good. Again, I'm trying to do this as fast as possible. Ooh, these ones are good. All right, so just wanna, what was this piece? What was that? A leaf. All right. Oh, it's a Hulu show. Thank you so much, Melanie. I think I just default to saying things are on Netflix. Ugh, Freestyle Love Supreme. Have you seen it, Melanie? It's awesome, right? So good. So good. It's kind of like what we're doing here. We're kind of freestyling it a little bit and just making it happen best we can. If I ever select 2 points and they're too far away, Command J, ooh, Command J joins them. Guess what? You can control the distance that it will join. I'm pretty sure. I just don't remember where that is. So yeah, I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure you can control the distance that they can join. There it is. Sure, why not? Gotta hurry through this. Let's just do this. Let's see what happens. All right, that works too. Change this. Go up. There we are. There we are. There we are. There we are. Too long, too big. What are you doing, crazy? Move it into position. Boop, like that. Send it to the back. Right? And again, it's just going to be this lovely plus sign, add a point, right? A direct selection tool, shortcut. And there we are. Typically what I would do in these cases, right? So we want to kind of show some depth. So for this one back here, it's going to add it's going to make it a little bit different, but overall I would actually make this like a touch darker, right? That's just going to give it some nice depth in this situation. I need to shift these colors, to be honest with you. Shift them over probably to this pink, because I really need to unify the colors, and that's a whole other situation that we're working with, just so you know. But I'm going to show you how to unify colors. I want to show you how to add randomness as well. We have all sorts of fun things to do. I have about 30 more minutes, so wish me luck. Right, again, I want to get into color. Hopefully you guys are learning something today. It's a beautiful day out there. Right, let's take the inside here. Let's make that like that. And by the way, I want to do something else really cool here in a second. As soon as I get, should have really made these a little bit more efficiently, but yeah. Okay, Sarah. Color shall make this red on the inside. There we are. All right, here's that situation where I actually probably should have made this a little bit more efficiently, but that's okay. What color shall we go with? I got yellow. I feel like I'm missing. I need like more broad colors. There we go. We'll just go with that one. Red. Hurry, Paul, hurry. There's no time. Everybody's getting impatient. They want results now. A lot of times if you click into objects, notice how I kind of have some layering issues, and that happens. One way to solve that is to take a look at your layers panel. It doesn't do me a lot of good because I can't tell like what's what, but there are pieces right in here that actually need to go to the back. And what I'm doing, Command, open bracket, send that to the back, and watch it move in the panel. We can see it move down in the panel. Okay, I can move it to the very bottom by Shift Command. It'll send it clear to the back like I'm doing right now. And actually for all of these, hopefully this works. Change the color just a little bit. There we go. Ooh, purple, that's the color I'm missing. I need a lovely purple. That's what I need. Bluebells are going to be blue. Wait for it. I'm trying to hustle through this. I want to show you how to make brushes. I did not get into random brushes and pattern brushes, which I would totally use in this case. All right. I could easily use the direct selection tool. So I've been using the selection tool and just digging into the object, but you could just use the direct selection tool. This allows me to select, say, all 4 of these at once, right? Even though it's a grouped shape, technically it's inside. I can select all 5 of these and then change that to blue like so, okay? So sometimes the direct selection tool might be a better use of your time. Let's get back out here. Let's make it happen, people. Let's make it happen. Make it happen. Oh wait, this is a sunflower. This should be like a brown. That works. Gotta hurry. I have to hurry. Let's get in here. Let me know if you have questions. Happy to answer them for you. All right. There we go. Command J to join. Make sure this is on the top. There we go. So again, kind of getting some of these issues kind of squared away using my layers panel. Now that I can recognize these objects a little better, I know that one needs to be underneath this one. And there we have it. Let's move on. How's everybody doing? I want to get into color shifting and all that fun stuff. I'm almost done. Let's get in here. These need to be yellow. Make it yellow. Make it yellow. We might have a weird stripe in there. That's okay. I don't think anybody's going to notice. Right? Do you ever say that? I don't think anybody's going to notice that. They probably will. Selecting all these. Let's go with red. Yeah, it's fine, Paul. What are you doing? This fun swirl. Again, I will be like a rebel and just jump in with the pencil. Oops, make sure that's not selected. Bring this to the front. There we are. This needs to be front 2. Scroll this down. Wait for it. Bring it up. There we are. There we are. All right, cool. We got it. We got everything filled in. There we are. So our for the most part, have a couple of leaves that actually that's what I want to focus on next, right? It's getting these guys squared away. There we are. I get it. I could probably do the branch. I need to do the cardinal. This is just never ending, right? Cardinal actually has, if you saw our original picture, actually had was red and then had has like a, you know what, Cardinal has a face mask on, basically. So there is technically a little something something right here. Zoop, like that. That's set to, oop. Did I just ruin that? Kind of has something like that. So that works out fine, okay? Cool, we got it. All right, so what did I miss in chat? Tell me. Exactly, Michelle says, oh, nobody will notice, and then 5 minutes later you go in and fix it. Story of my life. It's only noticeable if it shows up when you print, which by then it might be too late. Who's to say? Maybe. Really, this is just going to go to Instagram, so I don't need to worry about too much about these details. Shift-C will give you the anchor point tool. Again, minus, subtract, subtract, clean that up. That's exactly what I just did. I was like, oh, nobody will notice. And man, I'm like, that curve of that bill, that part will like annoy the heck out of me. Okay, so let's take this to the next level. I'm gonna kind of skip ahead. Let me kind of show the schedule really fast. Boop, there we go. We got Jesus. It's totally taking over the day, isn't he? He's gonna be up next. And then he gets to do some Photoshop compositing, which is awesome. That's super cool. All right, and then we have Andrew, little Illustrator. You guys get the idea. Schedule's right below me. You can see the schedule there. Yeah, oh yeah, by the way, I did not mention the design off with Voodoo Val and Nubia Art as well. They're probably gonna be using Photoshop, is my guess, but that's why I'm glad you guys are here with me, because you get to learn a little Illustrator. So let's do this now. You ready for this? We want to create some fun vines and branches kind of behind all of this stuff. So I have this created. So this is what I have created. And just to kind of show you what's going on, in here I have this content set to white. So this is actually set to a color. Typically what you'd do is you'd have this set to like green, you know? Come in here, this stuff would be set to green. Okay, I'm not really gonna do that. I guess I could, but I usually keep it at white. Okay, it's gonna give me a little bit more flexibility, but this is the vine that I made earlier. Branches not colored. Branches will be in a second. So that is good. And oh yeah, that one branch is not. Oh, I'll fix it for you. Let's go in here. Let's fix that branch. Otherwise it's gonna drive some people nuts. I hear ya. Right, we could change that. I don't know. There it is. All right, so let's go in here. Let's grab this. These are my shapes. Oh, sorry. Had the wrong thing selected. And I just want to make sure that the start and the end are perfectly matched up. That's the biggest thing right there. Okay, so I'll go to my brushes. I'll drop this in the brushes panel like so, and I'll make this a lovely pattern brush. Click OK. Here's my pattern brush. We're going to have this be vine or branches. Let's call it branch. And then I can choose how I want the corners to be interpreted, right? So they're either going to be auto-centered or overlap. I think it'd be nice if this is overlapped rather than distorted all weird. Let's at least try that. But the cool thing is this stuff can always change. Okay, we'll click OK. Right, okay, so we have that done. We'll go back to our drawing. We'll go behind everything else. Select the pencil. We'll select our brush right down here. So we have it selected down here. And then we can kind of draw like so. And there we have our branches. Okay? You get the idea. Lovely branches. Couple things are going on here. The reason I love this is I could jump in and I can resize this content. These are way too large. I think they're a little bit large, right? We could take them down in size, and this is just much, much better, okay? And then another thing you could probably use is you could probably use like a little cap or like a point at the end. So that's something I can take care of as well. So I can do a couple things with this. Oftentimes I'll like take this object, I'll duplicate it, right? And I'll create the end cap based on the original. So right over here, let's take these two, let's kind of bring them up like that. And what did we learn earlier? Command J. Ooh. Oh, sorry. Got that other piece right in there. We can do a Command J to join it. There it is. This is what I want the end piece to look like, right? We could take that, and we need to actually make this a pattern. So grab that, drop it into your swatches. Here it is, right down here. It appears right here. Double click on it, and you can see this is called pattern. So this is my branch end cap. I hope I'm doing this right. I hate it when it does that. It applies it once it's done. Done. Dang it. Let's undo this. Okay, so there it is. There it is. It's actually done right here. Boom. There it is. Let's call it end cap. There we are. Done. Get out of there. Move on. Right, we have our lovely branch. Now let's double click on it right in here. For this piece right here, we want to scroll down. You know what, I think it actually needs, I apologize. I don't know why I get these two mixed up. It actually needs to be a symbol, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Okay, where is it? There it is. No, no, no. Doesn't need to be a symbol. I typically think it should be a symbol, but no, it's actually a pattern. So here's the end cap. I have it selected, okay? And I put it on the wrong side. Oh, I do that all the time as well. This is none, but this end cap needs to go on the very last one down here. Just scroll down to what you created. DE, end cap, select. Right now, it's that end cap like so. Click OK. Apply to strokes. And now we have that lovely part right there. So draw that again. This is what I want. Cool thing about this, you ready for this? Is I can change the color of this at any time because let's say for instance, let's just keep white there for now. I'm going to double click on this. I'm going to change the key color. So the key color's that white. So pick whatever color you want to change. You'll select it and you'll change this to hue shift. So shift this white to whatever color I have in my stroke swatch. So click OK, apply to strokes. Nothing happened because this is set to white, but watch what happens once I change this to a different color, whether it's electric green or whatever. We'll click OK, and there it is. Right, so now I can have two branches that basically come from the same element, but obviously they are different in this case. Cool. All right, we're doing it. We're getting it done. I don't believe it. Get me some more coffee. Let's get this party started now that we have this set up. And this is why I will end up with a file that has 1,000 brushes that I can pick like at the drop of a hat, right? So I have another one over here. Let's draw this. Instead of using that one, let's go right here. So that's just one that does have a repeating pattern. This one, this one, this one. What's really cool about this as well is you could start to play with the uniformness of it as well. So check this out. You want it to be more organic. Let's go to this one right here, selecting it. Up at the top, I can change, rather than it just being the same thickness, which honestly for this design, it's much more professional and clean lined. But if I wanted to make this look organic, I can go to, say, this width profile, like so, right? I could even pick the width tool and then grab, say, this point right over here and make that part bigger, right? So I have a lot of control, so much control when it comes to brushes, which is honestly why I love Illustrator, because you have this level of control that you just don't, you know, in my opinion, as much as other apps. Okay, so again, super cool. We have that done. We have all our lovely brushes as well, right? We can use these at any time. All these fun ones, right? They all change colors. They all do this fun stuff. Some of them are crazy fun patterns, right? You get the idea. Some are fun circles. I just got so much going on in here. One's a snake, right? And again, I should probably make a lot of this larger, but you can kind of see what's happening there. All right, cool. Let's move on. Let's move on and let's integrate this into our design now. All right, we'll close that. Go to our design. Go to our branches or leaves layer, whatever you want to call it. We do have all these fun leaves that we did. We might want to use it. Again, I'm going to use my brush and I'm going to select that fun tool right in here. Let me select this, this color, like so. And then we can draw some, so sorry. Let's get rid of those. There we are. Wait for it. There it is. So since I'm going to be drawing the same branch over and over again, yes, it should have an end cap. You know, I probably do need to do an end cap. I apologize. Let me just do this really fast, okay? Just needs it. Let's take it. Oh, let's take this first one. Let's do this. We need the start cap and the end cap. Right, so right over here. Key thing to not do is don't mess up and have, don't move, like always have the same bounding box. Okay, have the same bounding box so everything lines up. If I change these, if I move these leaves, it's gonna get a little wacky. So just a little pro tip, just keep everything on all the edges and try not to move them. Okay, I can tweak this one a little bit, but I want to be very careful about it. You know, you get the idea. I don't even think you'll see it. Grab that, do it again, just since people are enjoying this. I think it's always good to reiterate. Let's drag this back in here and drop it. There it is. We'll double click on it. This will be the start cap, right? That's all we're calling it. It's just a pattern, just made a pattern. Right, now we can go to our lovely brush, double click on it, and right in here, scroll down to the S's, start cap, there it is, and then click OK. It's going to apply it to all the strokes, which is exactly what I want to do, which is again why I love Illustrator, is it's going to fix that part now. So that's that start, looks great, there's the end, have some fun, again, drawing things out. Hit I to sample, right? And we can have this kind of swoosh around. Oops. Like that. There we go. And again, you can always redraw back on top of that current one if you want to adjust it. So here's again where I just would want some randomness, kind of filling up some of these spots, maybe controlling the thickness. Oh, that was a little funky. It's getting very viney. Cool. And how can I align the center of the circle to the right corner of the square? Very carefully, I guess. Like, always take your, I assume you're talking about this part. I'm sorry, there is a little bit of a delay, so I don't know if I fully follow, but just take this piece, and just knowing that this part needs to join with this part. This is what I just definitely don't want to mess with. I can change this size. What I think you can do is actually I know you could do this. You can have a rectangle. Say for instance you didn't want those leaves there. You could have a rectangle that doesn't have a stroke or a fill. And it's kind of just like your guide saying, hey, you know what? This is the size I want this to be. And then when you make this a start cap or an end cap, you drag everything in. It's just this one's just going to be invisible as your bounding box. So yes, a bit busy. Sean, I agree. Sean with the criticism. He's like, dude, get it together. Fix it. You're exactly right. It got way too viney, right? It needs so much work. It does. You are so right. I didn't play with the flowers at all, right? Like, so a lot of these, need to be duplicated. Like, all this stuff needs to start to work together, right? We need to have some right over here. We need to rotate this one. We need to integrate sort of these branches with, even this sunflower is not, the color's not the same intensity. It gets into this warm brown. I'm not crazy about it. So definitely this all needs some finesse, that's for sure. Could use some more flowers. These bluebells are gorgeous. Let's move those over like that. Maybe shrink this up a little bit. And just integrate these with our branches that we've just drawn. Maybe it's too busy in parts. I agree 100%, by the way. I agree. This all needs some work. It's all about layout at this point, right? It's all about the layout of this. Like, how should this all work together? And again, this stuff just takes time. I'm not crazy about this carnation. I think the whole thing needs another level of depth too, right? Definitely does. Needs a whole other level of depth to it. Maybe what would be fun, since we haven't come up with any other text, we should have these kind of more integrated with the vines, right? So I would probably increase this size. Remember, I made this using I used the touch type tool to change this, but let's go ahead and crank up the size of these letters. Like so. 100, there we are. I could break these apart, or I could use the touch type tool to kind of move them around and rotate them. I'd want to integrate these vines as if they're wrapping around each one of these letters, right? And these should be kind of getting distorted as we go along. People are still going to be able to read it. These need to be integrated more. I'm super excited about doing that, but all of this is just going to take, you know, honestly, just like a little more time, and that's okay. Anything worth doing seems to just take a lot of time. All right, fine. I'm gonna go ahead and create outlines, ungroup them. Right, I'd probably start creating some depth. So much I need to do. I'd probably have another layer behind everything else, right, and have them integrated like this somehow. In some cases, they'll be in front of the flowers, right, kind of like that. Just creating that nice depth, right? That's the idea. Move this down, rotate it. All right, it's getting there. This is the next design for polished shirts. Yeah, I know. I could develop a personality. Instead, I thought I'd just buy fun shirts and call that a personality. Is apparently what I did. Kill me. Hey guys, look at me! I got a new shirt. Look at my new personality, everybody. I got new shirts. All right, expanding this out. I have a personality now. All right. Flip it. Take it up a notch. And what I'm playing with is stuff I can't see. Where is it? Expand appearance. Okay, that's fine. It's fine, people. It's fine. We'll just move that back there and cross our fingers. I have too much going on. Those are fun. Space letters from before. All right, cool. Well, I'm down to my last couple minutes. And all I was doing there is I'm just creating some very light graphics in the background. There we go. Just giving it like a little bit of depth. And yes, I know it needs work. One of the big things that I would do is like if I'm not happy with the colors, I would use, let's move this around. I would use recolor artwork is what I'd also end up trying as well. Mohammed, just so you know, yeah, I shaved yesterday, and it's not like me, and I can't wait for it to grow back. So Jonah Loeb's in the house. Jonah, good to see you, man. Awesome. Great. Fantastic. Awesome to see you. So anyways, Jonah Loeb's in the house. He is the man. All right, let's take this. So a couple more little duplicates of things. I feel like maybe I'm missing some carnations. Here's our lovely bird. Right, okay, so I have all these colors. I'm gonna get rid of some of these layers. I actually have those leaves that I could throw in there. That looks actually pretty good. Let's get rid of these two other layers. Let's get rid of our spaceship layer. We're not using any of that content anymore. Right, there it is. And what I can do is I could play with the colors for this design. I actually think it's pretty good, but I could start to tweak them accordingly as well. Okay, so down to my last minute or so, I'll typically come in here and select everything, go to Edit, Edit Colors, Recolor Artwork, right in here, here are all the colors that I'm using, right? We could see that this color actually is for the sunflower, which is kind of muted, and so is this one, right? So I would take some of these and I'd crank up the saturation and the brightness, right? Just to tie it in to all of this. Or what you could do is you could remap everything, right? Like so. Lock it down, rotate it around. I know these blues actually need to be green, and now we have an entirely different look as well. Start to unlock that. Hey, there's all these blues right here. Let's make them pink. Right now we have those pink colors. What it did is it locked it into 5 colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 colors. But you could have as many as you want. So pretty cool what you could do there. I'll click OK. I probably made it worse, right? But again, an entirely different look that we have. Okay, I'm gonna just copy that. I'll revert back to my original, and you get the idea. So thanks for hanging out with me, everyone. Down to my last 30 seconds. I want you to know that I appreciate you. And I want to thank you for watching. Oh, now it looks more better. Yeah, maybe it does. It needs some work. I'm not crazy about the reds, but honestly, you'll see my final get posted to my social media, just so you know, on Instagram, PTRANI. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Hang in there, wear your face masks, call your mom, drink lots of water, and yeah, have fun. Thanks so much, everybody. Be back in a second with Jesus Ramirez.